Hello, and welcome to Angel Print Creative, a place that brings you back to the warmth of youth and emotional healing through beautiful animated visuals. Today, I'll take you on a journey to listen to the story of a young girl named Maya and her life's journey through both the storms and the sunshine. Hello, my name is Maya. Today, softly, I want to tell you a story. It is not a story of a hero or a queen. It is the story of a girl who learned how to be a sky. My story begins in a small room filled with the scent of warm oil and the sound of a beating heart. I don't remember the exact moment I opened my eyes for the first time, but in my soul, I remember the light. It was bright. It was scary. I came into this world with a loud cry, a protest against the cold air. But then, whispering, I felt a warmth. A pair of hands held me close. For the first time, I heard a voice that I already knew from the darkness. It was my mother. She whispered, "Welcome, Maya." In that moment, the world felt safe. The first year of my life was a blur of colors and sounds. I learned that the ceiling was my first sky. I learned that hunger felt like a storm and a hug felt like sunshine. Every day, my brain was like a small sponge soaking up the magic of existence. I didn't know words yet, but I understood the language of love. When my father smiled, the room felt bright. When I heard birds outside the window, I felt a strange excitement in my tiny chest. Then came the biggest mountain of my early life, the first step. I remember looking at my parents. They were standing so far away, maybe only 3 steps, but to me, it felt like 1,000 miles. I gripped the edge of the wooden chair. My legs were shaking. My heart was thumping, thump, thump, thump. I let go of the chair. For 1 second, I was flying, and then, thud, I fell. The floor was hard, it was cold. I wanted to cry. I thought, maybe I am not meant to walk. Maybe the ground is too strong for me. But my mother didn't rush to pick me up. She stayed on her knees, opened her arms, and said, "Try again, Maya, just one more time." I looked into her eyes. I saw a reflection of a girl who was stronger than she felt. I stood up. I shook the dust off my tiny knees. I took 1 step, then another, and on the 3rd step, I fell into her arms, laughing. That was my first lesson, though I didn't know it then. Falling is not the end. It is just the beginning of a better way to stand. Once my feet learned how to touch the earth without falling, the world suddenly became a giant playground. I was 2, then 3, then 4 years old. I was no longer a baby who only looked at the ceiling. I was an explorer. Every corner of our small house was a hidden cave. Every cardboard box was a castle. I remember running into the garden, my hair flying in the wind, chasing butterflies that I could never catch. In those years, I thought the world was only made of sunshine and my mother's sweet lullabies. But as I grew, I realized that adults have secrets, and sometimes those secrets smell like sadness. I remember a rainy evening when I was 5 years old. I was sitting under the kitchen table with my favorite doll. Outside, the thunder was loud, but inside, there was a different kind of storm. For the first time, I heard my parents shouting. I didn't understand the words they were using, words about money, bills, and stress, but I understood the anger in their voices. I squeezed my doll tightly. My small heart was beating fast. I thought, did I do something wrong? Is the storm my fault? Later that night, the house went completely silent. I crawled out from under the table and saw my mother sitting by the window. The room was dark. She was wiping her tears in silence. I walked over to her, climbed onto her lap, and put my tiny hand on her cheek. She looked at me, forced a gentle smile, and whispered, "It's okay, Maya. It's just a cloudy day." That was the night I learned a heavy truth. Even the people who protect you can feel scared. And sometimes the storm is not outside in the sky. It is right inside your own home. Then the year turned again. I was 6 years old. The time came for me to leave the safety of our wooden front door. It was my first day of primary school. I remember the uniform felt stiff and strange on my body. My backpack felt too big, like a turtle shell on my back. I held my father's hand so tightly that my fingers turned white. When we arrived at the school gate, the world became incredibly loud. There were hundreds of children running, crying, and laughing. It was chaotic. I froze. I looked up at my father, my eyes pleading with him not to leave me. He knelt down to my level, adjusted my backpack, and looked into my eyes. He said, "Maya, look at that big school. Out there you are going to find new friends, and you are going to learn how to write your own story. Don't be afraid of the crowd. Just take one step at a time." He let go of my hand. I felt a cold breeze on my palm. I turned around and walked through into the unknown. I was terrified, but with every step I took, I carried my father's words in my chest like a small, warm anchor. Primary school was a place of many firsts. The first time I learned how to read a full book. The first time I shared my crayons. And the first time I learned that making friends could be both beautiful and painful. When you are 7 or 8 years old, a friend is your whole universe. I met a girl named Sophia. We did everything together. We shared our secrets. We laughed until our stomachs hurt during recess, and we promised to be best friends forever. For 2 years, my school days were bright and colorful because of her. But clouds always find a way to return. In grade 3, a new girl joined our class. She was confident, she had newer toys, and suddenly Sophia stopped looking at me. One Tuesday afternoon, I walked over to their desk to sit with them. Sophia looked at me, turned her back, and whispered to the new girl. They both laughed. My heart dropped. It felt like that cold, heavy stone was back in my chest. I spent the rest of the recess sitting alone under the big tree, watching them play from far away. I felt invisible. I felt like I wasn't good enough. When the school bell rang at the end of the day, I walked home very slowly, keeping my head down so nobody could see my watery eyes. When I pushed open our front door, the first thing that greeted me was not a lecture, but a smell. It was the rich, warm scent of my mother's signature soup bubbling on the stove, with garlic, fresh herbs, and love. My mother looked at my heavy face and my quiet mouth. She didn't ask 100 questions. Instead, she gently took off my big backpack, pulled out a chair, and placed a warm bowl of soup in front of me. She sat next to me, stroked my hair, and said, "Eat first, my clever Maya. The world can wait, but a warm stomach cannot." With the first spoonful, the warmth spread from my mouth straight to my cold heart. It tasted like safety. It tasted like home. In that quiet kitchen, listening to the soft sound of her stirring the pot, I realized something. The world outside might change. Friends might walk away. But my mother's cooking was a constant promise that I was loved. Her food wasn't just about survival. It was her way of healing my broken wings without needing a single word. The next day, I went back to school. Sophia was still sitting with the other girl, and it still hurt. But I didn't feel as broken as the day before. Why? Because inside my backpack, I had a little plastic lunchbox filled with my mother's fried rice. Every spoon I ate during recess was a quiet reminder that I had a safe harbor to return to. I learned to smile again. I started talking to other classmates sitting next to me. I made new friends, friends who liked me for who I was. By the time I finished primary school and stood at the end of grade 6, I was no longer the little girl who cried under the tree. I was growing up. I was learning that human hearts can be fragile, but a mother's love is the ultimate anchor that keeps you steady in the wind. When I stepped into middle school, the playground from my childhood vanished. Everything became serious. The hallways were bigger, the subjects were harder, and the teachers expected us to grow up overnight. I was 13, then 14. It is a strange age. You are too big to be a child, but too small to be an adult. I felt like I was caught in a thick fog. My body was changing. My emotions were like a roller coaster, and for the first time, I felt a deep, quiet loneliness. I had classmates, but we were all fighting our own hidden battles. Battles with grades, identity, and the pressure to fit in. I remember grade 8 as my rainiest season. The math equations looked like a foreign language to me. No matter how hard I tried, my test scores kept falling. One evening, I sat at my desk with a paper marked in red ink, 50%, a failing grade in my eyes. The voice inside my head started to shout, "You are not smart enough, Maya. Look at the others, they are doing fine. Why are you struggling?" I felt so heavy. I shut my notebook, walked out of my room, and dragged my feet to the kitchen. I wanted to hide from the future. In the kitchen, the air was warm. My mother was preparing dinner. She looked at the red ink paper in my hand, but she didn't get angry. She didn't tell me to go back and study harder. Instead, she handed me a wooden spoon and a bowl of fresh vegetables. She smiled and said, "The soup is missing something, Maya. Come, help me chop the onions." That night, for the first time, I didn't just eat her food, I helped her create it. I watched how she moved, calm and patient. She showed me how a pinch of bitter salt can actually make the sweet sauce taste better. She showed me that if the fire is too high, the rice will burn. But if the fire is too low, it will never cook. As we stirred the pot together, she whispered, "Maya, life is like a complex recipe. Sometimes you put in the wrong ingredient. Sometimes the soup tastes bad, but you don't throw away the whole pot. You just adjust the spices. You add a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and you try again." In that warm steam, the heavy stone in my chest began to melt. I realized that my bad grade was just a bitter ingredient in my week. It did not mean my whole life was a failure. From that evening on, the kitchen became my safe harbor. Every Sunday, I stood next to my mother, learning the secret of her spices. I learned that chopping vegetables was a way to calm my racing mind. I went back to school with a new perspective. I still struggled with math, and the world was still loud. But whenever the anxiety started to whisper in my ears during an exam, I would close my eyes for 3 seconds, take a deep breath, and remember the calm warmth of our kitchen. I would tell myself, "It is just a difficult lesson, Maya. You are just adjusting the recipe. I survived middle school. I learned to let go of old friends who grew distant, and I learned to appreciate the quiet ones who stayed. As I stood at the end of grade 9, ready to enter high school, I knew the road ahead would be steeper. But I wasn't afraid anymore. I carried my mother's wisdom in my hands, and I knew that whatever life put in my bowl, I had the strength to cook it into something beautiful. High school, grade 10, 11, and 12. If my childhood was a quiet river, high school was an ocean during a wild wind. It was the time when my heart learned to beat in a completely new rhythm. Yes, I fell in love. His name was Leo. He sat 3 desks away from me, and he had a smile that could make me forget my own name. I was too terrified to talk to him. My heart would go thump, thump, thump every time he walked past. So my best friend Sam became our secret messenger. Sam would deliver small notes, ask him what music he liked, and spy on him during recess. It was a time of pure excitement and funny panic. I would spend hours looking at the mirror, wondering if my hair looked right, and feeling so anxious that I couldn't even swallow my food. It was beautiful, silly, and sweet. But with youth comes a bit of madness. One sunny Friday in grade 11, Sam whispered to me, "Let's skip the last chemistry class. Let's go to the old cafe near the river." I had never broken a rule in my life, but the desire to be free, to be cool, and to escape the stressful exams was too strong. We sneaked out through the back gate. We spent the afternoon laughing, eating ice cream, and feeling like we owned the world. For 3 hours, I forgot about math. I forgot about the future, and I felt alive. But when I walked home that evening, the heavy stone was waiting for me at the front door. My mother was standing in the living room. Her face was not angry, it was pale. The school had called her. That night, for the first time in my life, there was no smell of food in the kitchen. The stove was cold. My mother went to her room and closed the door without saying a single word. That silence hurt worse than any shouting. I sat on my bed, staring at my empty desk, feeling a deep, suffocating guilt. I realized that my 3 hours of freedom had broken the trust of the person who loved me most. The cold silence in the house didn't disappear the next day. It grew into a monster. My father came home, stressed from work, and when he found out about my mistake, he blamed my mother for being too soft. I stood outside their closed door, listening to them shouting at each other. Words were flying like sharp knives. "It's because of you." "No, it's because you are never here." I slid down against the wall, covering my ears, tears streaming down my face. The storm wasn't just inside the house anymore. It felt like it was breaking our family apart. And this time, I was the one who sowed the seed of the storm. I felt so small, so broken, and so helpless. I wanted to run away. The next morning, I woke up early. The house was quiet. I walked into the kitchen, took a deep breath, and decided to do what my mother taught me. I tied the apron around my waist, pulled out the rice, the eggs, and the garlic. I started cooking. My hands were shaking, but I put all my regrets, all my apologies into that frying pan. When my mother walked in, she saw the breakfast on the table, and she saw my red eyes. She didn't say anything. She just walked over, took the wooden spoon from my hand, and pulled me into a tight hug. We both cried in silence. No words were needed. The recipe of love was back in the kitchen. Grade 12 arrived like a bullet. Leo moved to another city, and my first love became a beautiful memory in my old notebook. Sam and I studied until midnight every day, drinking cold coffee and fighting for our future. The tension for the final national exam, Back 2, was everywhere. On the last day of high school, when the final bell rang, we all ran out into the courtyard. We threw our papers into the air, laughing and crying at the same time. I looked back at the big school building. I had entered that gate as a terrified 6-year-old girl holding her father's hand, and now I was walking out as an 18-year-old woman ready for university. I survived the rain. I survived the storms. I learned that life is a beautiful, messy recipe of love, mistakes, heartbreaks, and forgiveness. I am Maya. My journey is just beginning, but I am no longer afraid of the clouds, because I know that I am the sky.